Whether you like it or not, AI agents are already replacing jobs and AI is becoming better exponentially. And so in this video, I want to talk about how to become irreplaceable in the AI age, how most of us are already currently working like machines, how to reclaim our agency and our sense of meaning, and how to engage with the workplace and the marketplace in a way that makes you irreplaceable. So let's dive right into it. So the first thing is the trap of modern work. And so most of us are caught in this cycle of monotonous work. We're on autopilot. We're just clicking buttons mindlessly, living for the weekends, trapped in a system, trapped in a marketplace that suppresses our creativity. And this makes us very replaceable. We are very much at risk of AI replacing our jobs if we are stuck in this trap of modern work. This is the cubicle nation. You can think of it like that. And so most of us are not thinking creatively, strategically. We're living for the weekends, and we're just going through the same motions every single day. We're not living in alignment, in what David Shapiro calls radical alignment, which is understanding what it is that wants to come through us, our purpose, our mission, in living in alignment with that, rather than just kind of giving up and letting, the cubicle nation workforce model just, suck us in. And so this is the first thing to understand. Without understanding this, it's hard to understand how to become irreplaceable. The second thing is the meaning crisis. So the reason so many of us are stuck in this position is because it's what John Vervaeke calls the meaning crisis. It's that we've lost this connection with reality itself. So what I'm proposing here is not just some learn this skill, learn that skill, become irreplaceable. What I'm proposing something more profound and fundamental here. I'm trying to get at the essence of how to relate to work such that you have the type of worldview and perspective and mindset that makes you irreplaceable, that makes you anti-fragile. And so, sure, you can learn, there's other videos on this channel about how to build AI agents, how to build AI systems, how to, create content and document your process. But in this video, I want to talk about how AI poses these job security risks because it questions human relevance. And what do I mean by human relevance? So we're finding very many things relevant in our worlds. But a lot of times what we find relevant, this is what John Vervaeke calls like the seat of consciousness. And so what we find relevant, what we find interesting is that which brings us alive. And a lot of us have been co-opted by culture such that the news, TV, media, social media, whatever it is what we're finding most relevant. So what we need to do is we need to reclaim our radical alignment with what we find relevant. And so this is how we regain our connection to reality. This channel for me is my attempt at having radical alignment, at finding this purpose, finding this meaning in my life that goes beyond just a 9 to 5. And so with that being said, there's this core idea that I want to talk about here. And this is that participatory knowing is the antidote to irrelevance. So if you want to become irreplaceable and if you want to become relevant in the modern economy, you have to understand how to come into radical alignment with that which drives you and how to kind of live by your mission. And this idea of participatory knowing, it's actually a very simple concept. Basically what I mean by participatory knowing, it's a concept coined by John Vervaeke. What I mean by this is that you are participating in something, you are getting feedback as you participate, and you are altering and changing your course based on that feedback. And ideally, you are co-creating reality. You're developing what is called an optimal grip, an optimal relationship with your environment that generates meaningful feedback loops and allows you to engage in the world in a way that a machine cannot. So a machine can go and it can generate text, it can go, now agents can go surf the internet, take actions, but what they can't do is feel the emotions that you're feeling, feel the purpose and mission. And your job is to understand what is your purpose and mission, how do you want to interact with the world and change it for the better in a way that allows you to say, okay, now I have all of these AI tools at my disposal. My job is to use these AI tools in service of this mission. But if I don't know what my mission is, if I don't have this mission that I'm moving towards, I can never use AI to support that mission because it by definition doesn't exist. And so that's where participatory knowing comes in. The way that we develop this mission, the way that we create a relationship to our work that is both sustainable long-term, that is interesting to others and that they see as valuable, that builds trust and expertise in the marketplace, is that we engage with the environment, with the marketplace, and we share our experiences. We develop this optimal grip, and ultimately we kind of make sense of reality, of the world, of the marketplace in a way that resonates with others, right? And this is what machines can't duplicate. They can be generative and create a bunch of stuff, but they're just mimicking what's on the internet, right? And so the core idea here is that as you cultivate empathy, as you master yourself in these various traits, this progression of character development, and as you start documenting that online, sharing it, right? The only way to build a one-person business is for people to know that you have services that are valuable. And the only way that you can kind of become anti-fragile in the AI marketplace is you're sharing these authentically. You're tuning into that radical alignment, and you're figuring out what is that genuine inspiration that I feel that I can share with the world that others will be attracted to. And then how do I systematize and automate my life, not automate my life, automate all of the tasks that are required to materialize that vision and that opportunity in reality in such a way that I can be put in front of the right people at the right time to be able to fulfill this mission, right? And, my mission here with this channel is to help people understand the ways that they can create meaning in their lives and to create fulfilling one-person businesses and fulfilling livelihoods using AI. My goal is, yes, you'll learn all the tutorials and agents and all that stuff, but most importantly, you'll learn how you can reclaim your sense of agency, of participatory knowing, and you reclaim ultimately that sense of aliveness, right? That feeling of like, it feels good to be alive. I feel invigorated. That's what we're going after. We're going after that feeling of invigoration and aliveness. And I truly believe that when you figure out what that purpose, that mission, that inspirational value is that you provide, a machine can never take this away, and AI can never take this away, although you can use AI to augment this process. And so how do we break free from these robotic systems? How do we resist the compliance trap, which is like, I'm just going to comply with the social cultural milieu and just kind of go along with the flow? And how do we actually chart our own territory and use our agency to become irreplaceable? And so the first thing we must do is challenge our own assumptions. So our own assumption is the only way. I had multiple different assumptions. The only way to make a living was to go get a job and become employed, and the only way to do this was to go and send my CV into different companies and hope that they would hire me. And now in understanding, in pursuing deeper understanding over surface level knowledge, I've come to realize that no, the way that you survive in this world is you understand what it is that brings you alive, and you create as many systems that help you turn that aliveness into value for other people, right? And so this video is the outcome of me cultivating this aliveness and trying to figure out how to turn this aliveness, this inspiration, into felt value for the viewer, right? And I'm not amazing at it, right? This is only like my, 100 or 100th or 200th video that I've produced on YouTube, on various different channels. But the goal is like, I'm going through this process. This process is transforming me. It's shaping my character as I commit to this process of every single day, trying to figure out how to take what's in my head, the sense of aliveness and invigoration, and convert that into value that other people get. And in creating as much value as I humanly can, as is humanly possible to me, and packaging it in a way that lands, then I will be reciprocated. And I've never made more money ever in my life. And I really attribute that to people see these videos, they resonate, they reach out, they book calls, and then now I'm in different business partnerships and building out agent systems for businesses and all this stuff. And ultimately, we must reject the current way that things are operating. Not entirely, but there are a lot of there's this idea of go to school, go to college, get a job, start a family. This is no longer the American dream. And one of the businesses that I participate in, they've done polls on this, and they've realized that the American dream is different for every single person. And maybe you're not in America, but the same, like the dream of what people want out of their lives is different, and there's a large diversity of that. And so these traditional systems that tell us there is only one way to have a successful life, we need to reject these, and we need to come into radical alignment. We need to tune into that participatory knowing. We need to co-create that within ourselves, such that we are coming into radical alignment and realizing that whatever it is that brings me most alive, that is what needs to be shared with the world, right? And this is how we break free from the system, the robotic system that AI is going to replace. Like, if we are operating in this robotic system, our job will be replaced, because by definition we are already humanoid robots. We're humans acting as robots. So how we become irreplaceable is we do deep inner work, self-reflection, and then we find ways to materialize that. And I'm not telling you to go become a spiritual materialist and try to sell, I don't know, tarot card group coaching. There's so many like spiritual coaching programs. I'm not telling you to do that. That is not a good idea. But the idea is like, what is it that brings me alive? How do I communicate that with people? And how do I systematize the process that I went through? So I went through a process of knowing nothing about AI to selling AI agents to businesses that wanted to pay me thousands of dollars for it. This is a process I went through. And I'm trying to both document it on YouTube and tune into the aliveness of what it is that is still present in that transformation and why that transformation was so fulfilling, and to communicate that with you. And this is, I believe, the best articulation to date that I have come up with. And so we can call it the call to Renaissance. And it's really this shift that says like, okay, well, AI is going to take all of our jobs, and that's terrible, to now it's an invitation. How do I transcend this usual way of operating, that where I just go to work, clock in, click some buttons, follow some SOPs, send some emails, and call it a day? And how do I switch that and not focus on efficiency as much as like, what is it that genuinely wants to come forth in my being? And how do I build AI agent systems that help me materialize that more effectively? And what are the ways that I want to impact humanity for the good? And how do I opt for this authenticity over just brute force doing tasks in my day-to-day life? And so ultimately, I believe we need to choose humanity. And I'm not saying choose humanity over AI. I'm saying the first principles approach here is start with your body, start with your inner emotional system. You can call it interoception. It's the skill of being able to tune into our internal signals of the body. Start with that. Figure out, when I do this, like, here's a very simple approach. You can think like, I just did this task. Do I feel more drained or more alive? Just use that as your compass. A lot of times it's not that difficult. Like, I'm not telling you to do some like intuitive spiritual thing here. I'm saying do a task and ask yourself, do I feel more alive or more drained? Use that as your compass. Personally, I'm recording this video, I feel more alive. Okay, I am, building a particular type of system, I feel drained. Okay, I don't really want to do that. Maybe I'll delegate it to someone else, or I'll choose a different business model, right? And so we're choosing depth over routine. We're saying, all right, yes, I'm going to show up and do this every single day, but I'm going to focus on my humanity. I'm going to focus on these interoceptive signals that I'm getting from my body. And I'm going to focus on, how do I tune into those more? And how do I really cultivate every time I feel aliveness, how do I double down on that? How do I say, okay, this helped me feel more alive? How do I create systems in an environment which is more conducive to doing that thing and less conducive to doing this thing that I don't like to do? And that is how we cultivate our mission in the world. If we understand our mission, we go towards it. In materializing our mission, there are many things that will drain us and many things that will make us alive. And I'm not saying like never do anything that drains you, because obviously it's just not how the world works. But if we can optimize for that over time and focus more and more and more on the aliveness over time, that is a winning recipe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you got some genuine value from it.